This is part 2 of setting a bear snare.
Okay guys, this is
and
part 2 of
what we're doing right now is just explaining the size of the wire, that type of thing. And that's how I have it set in the trees. So it's set in between two trees, jammed in, and on the back end of the bucket is another tree that it's hard up against, so it can't slide back any further. And then underneath and on top of the bear snare bucket, I have two cross pieces nailed to the trees just for support. You'll notice there's two pieces of wood nailed above the bucket, and that's there so things can't fall down and set the snare off or what have you. Plus it's also there to help camouflage it. You'll see that later. But right now, when you set your snare, you got to make sure when you set it that if the bear does get in your snare and go, that all your wire, everything has to go out through right where my hands are, not over the top of any of those supports, because it'll be snarled up. I'm just playing with the snare there a little bit. It takes a little bit sometimes just to get it just right, but I'd rather play with it 3 or 4 minutes, get it just right, than throw it in there and not have anything happen at all. So right here is a good time to just take your time, make sure everything's clear and everything's set just right.
As I said before, it takes a little bit of playing around with to get it set in there just right.
It takes a little bit of fooling around, little jerry rigging it around there just so it's set just right. Now those two slots on the side that holds the snare, right where my hands are right now, there's 2 slots there. If you snap off a couple of small twigs, all the size of a toothpick, and jam in between the wire and that slot, it helps hold the snare in place, as I'm doing right now. Now we'll get this done and see what takes place.
Just snare in there, just jam him in just a little bit just to hold it there. Now the snare is set. The snare is going to go over the top of that, like so. So you want this tree a little bit.
Here I am nailing the tension compression spring and part of the chain above the trigger system, so when the spring is fired, the spring does not have to lift the spring and chain. All it has to do is lift the snare itself. There's very little weight to lift there, just the snare. Just still playing with it a little bit just to get it just right, and then when we're finished, I should be setting that just perfect. So, and here's the tension spring and chain. Just looking a few things over. Okay, now we got to unscrew the quick link and put the compression spring on, and you'll notice that everything's above the trigger system. Now when you put the chain out through, out in the front of the barrel, you can't have the chain in the back of the bucket. You have to run the chain out in the front, so when the bear takes off, it doesn't have to rip through all that wood around the trees and that type of thing. So Anyway, everything's got to go clear from the front.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like I got a loop there, but you watch. I'm going to pass the chain right through. Now everything should go right clear. When the bear pulls on the wire, everything gonna go right straight out through. No snarls. And we'll just get this fastened to a tree. Good sized tree anyway. That one just to the left of the bucket. It's about an 8-inch tree, 8 inch in diameter. I think that's the one we're going to put it on. There we go. Now just fasten it around that tree.
It's a big enough tree. That's hooked there, that's onto there. Now the spring system is bait. There, this is what I use for bait. It's just mushed up bread. It's got fryer grease, fryer oil, some pancake syrup, and some ice cream sauce. So we'll put a little bit there on the ground, and a little taste. This one's going in behind the trigger. You can see in there, I don't know if you see in there or not. And this one, I'm just going to open it up a little bit. A little bit right there. Leave that hanging somewhere here on a nail. Now, for the spring system, that's the S-hook which goes on the trigger. That is a breakaway clip. So when the snare is fired, that whole thing will break away and clear the string. That's there. Okay, we'll hook that breakaway thing on next, after. But right now I got to get up and hook this up higher, right there. There we go. Okay. There's a lot of tension on that spring. So when that bear reaches in and grabs that trigger, it's going to release this S-hook, which I've got clipped right into that cable right there. Okay? When that trigger releases, the spring goes up, that catch will fire the snare, And when the bear decides he wants to leave, it's going to straighten that hook out, and everything's going to go clear of my setup in this spring. Okay, so that should be good right there. So everything is baited, everything's going to go clear of here. That's it. Now all we've got to do is camouflage it up some. So when I come back, I'll show you how that's camouflaged up. There guys, we're back. This is what it looks like after it's been set. There's a squirrel right here somewhere. He's after the bait already. So it must be pretty good stuff. Look at this.
This little guy's not scared of anything. He's just munching away. Not a care in the world.
Yeah, that's not tame or nothing.
As long as he doesn't eat it all. Oh, doesn't care if I'm there at all. Loves that stuff.
Well, anyway, enough of that little feller.
Well, there, that's what she looks like.
So here's some bait.
Camouflaged in.
Bait's there. Some on the ground. If you're looking behind there, you'll see a bag of bait in behind there. Okay, he's going to see that little stuff shining in there, and he's going to grab that little grate and set off the trigger. That little fella's back again. He won't leave. Look at this. He's right down by my feet. Anyway, he'll probably eat half the bait before we're done. Anyway, this is how I camouflage it up. The only thing you can see is the tube. Okay, back again. Alright. It's all camouflaged in. Got the spring hooked up around that branch. It's just tied back here so I can get at it. Okay. Now the big spring is part of the chain and cable and all that stuff is hooked. It's hooked right here on a nail. And that keeps the strain off the spring. The spring doesn't have to lift all of that. It's already up. So all the spring's got to do is pull on the snare itself. Alright. Now the chain, I wish it was another 3 or 4 feet longer, but for some reason, I don't know why, but I had it around this last year. I must have took a piece off of it, but I got wrapped around pretty good size tree. Okay, so tomorrow morning we'll give this a check and see if we've got him. That won't stay in there, but it's still all right. Okay. Now, just in case you can't see that, I'll get a flashlight and just shine it in there and show you what it looks like. You just hold on. Okay, guys, we're back. Anyway, that's what it looks like inside. Okay. And if you look up the top, there's you can see the bottom part of the S hook, and that vertical piece that's going up and down, that's bent out on a 90 degree. It's just a nail with the head sawed off of it, and it's bent on a 90 degree and just welded onto the trigger system. Okay, so when he pulls on that grate, it releases the S hook off that pin, and hopefully his arm's going to be way up in this snare. Alright. Anyway, that's what it looks like. Now, like I say, tomorrow morning, first thing in the morning when we get up after breakfast, we'll be coming down to check this. And this is our old bear stand. Okay, we've We've already got 2 bears here already this year, and there's still more. There's several more around here. Pretty chewed up. The barrel's pretty well clawed to pieces. Now, some of you may not have seen this, but I'll show you anyway, just in case you didn't. This piece right here. I used to chain my barrel around the tree. If you look right here, here's the chain and the lock. But I used to chain the barrel right to this tree so they wouldn't steal the barrel. Well, that didn't work. I had a hole cut through here and a hole cut through there. It had a chain run it through it and just wrapped that around the tree. This rip you see in the steel right here was done by the one bear. But I done a big bear. He had twisted the barrel so tight that he just ripped the chain right through the barrel. So now, sometimes I have to go chasing the barrel down in the woods for 30, 40 yards, 50 yards sometimes. But that's all right. That's all right. I don't mind that. Anyway, that's what kind of damage they can do to steel barrels. All right. Trail camera still set there. It's got 172 pictures on it right now, but I've only got one spare camera card, and I got to put that at the deer stand, so I'll come check that tomorrow, this bear one. But anyway, right now we're going to, it's 4:15, so we're going to head back to the deer stand and see if we can get a deer this evening. If not, we'll try again another day. But that squirrel, I don't know how much he can eat, but he's loving that stuff. And he's still there. Anyway, we'll catch you guys later. If you happen to get a catch, we'll have that put on. So, see you later.